Hey guys, we're down here at ZIMM'S Guitars. We're just going to check out this cool amp today. It's a 1962 Brownface Fender Pro. So we're going to play through it. I'll show you guys the vibrato that's on here. We'll check out both the channels on it and give you some specs and whatnot. So we're going to get to playing. Okay, so looking at the front plate here, the face plate, it's just like a lot of your typical Fender amps where you have a normal channel and then you have your vibrato channel. So this side is just going to be volume, treble, bass, and then the presence control. And then on the vibrato side we're going to have volume, treble, bass, speed and intensity, and also the presence. One of the cool things about this amp is that it actually has the harmonic tremolo, which is kind of like an actual vibrato. If you look at like the Twin Reverbs, Princetons, you know, all those amps, they'll still say vibrato, but it's actually a tremolo because it oscillates the sound's volume. So the volume goes up and down, kind of like if you were doing a swell on your volume knob. This one, it actually oscillates the pitch of your guitar signal. So it uses 3 preamp tubes that are solely dedicated to just the vibrato on it. So it takes a couple extra tubes to run it instead of just, you know, having like one tremolo driver tube. So that's why they ultimately stopped doing it on a lot of the Fender amps, because it was just way too many parts, too many tubes. You know, it wasn't really cost effective. But the cool thing is that it gives you a really sweet like univibe type sound, almost like a Leslie speaker, where it sounds like it's really swirling instead of just a, you know, shift in volume. So we'll get to that. It's kind of like the old Bandmaster video that we did a while back. You can go back and check that one out. It also has the harmonic tremolo. And there was a couple other Fender amps that had it as well, only during the Brown era. So there was the Super, the Pro, the Concert, the Showman, and the Bandmaster. So those 5 amps were the only ones that got it out of all the Fender amps that they've ever made. So this one's a 62 Pro, and we're gonna go ahead and start playing. It's got a 15-inch speaker in there. This one has it's a replaced speaker. It's a Weber California Series 15-inch speaker. It's like a JBL D130F copy, so it's actually really bright. And it's not super dark sounding like a typical 15-inch speaker would be. Okay, so right now we're in the vibrato side. I got my treble and bass around noon, you know, right up between 5 and 6. Volume's on about 2.5. And we're going to play without some of the tremolo right now, just to get a nice clean tone. So also right now we're just playing through this Mexican Strat. It's got noiseless single coil pickups in it. It's really cool playing. Sounds really nice through this Pro. So whenever I got the amp, I actually just bought this on Reverb, and it was packaged really well, but this cheap old Ruby Chinese 5AR4 rectifier tube got a little damaged in shipping. You could see it's kind of bent. It's hard to tell, and if you shake it, it really rattles a lot. And it was just glowing like really bright compared to other like rectifiers and power tubes. So I replaced it with a nice tung sole, which another 5AR4 which sounds really good. You know, the rectifiers don't really change your tone that much, but it does have some nice sag to the amp. You know, it compresses really nice, and it's definitely better quality than this cheap Chinese one. So that's what we have in the amp right now. Okay, so we're gonna check out the vibrato. I got the intensity between 5 and 6, and our speed's like about on 3. This is, like I said, it's like a really univibe sound, so we're gonna check that out. So it's a really crazy, like super throbby, you know, give you that really like C6 sound, and it's close to like a univibe, you know, and it's just really crazy. It doesn't sound like the other, you know, optocoupler trims that you'll find in like a twin reverb or something like that. And then the presence control, it's pretty nice. It's kind of like a you know, on your Blackface and Silverface amps, you have your bright switch. So whenever your presence is all the way down, it's almost as if your bright switch is turned off. And then when you have your presence control all the way up, it's as if your bright switch was turned on. Anywhere in between is a nice, you know, mix, and it adds in, you know, the right amount of presence. It's really versatile. Could dial in the exact sound that you're looking for. So here's with it off. And then we'll turn it all the way up. So it's a bit brighter. Hopefully you'll be able to hear that through the camera. It really just kind of affects the way that the amp feels when you're playing it. It's a little bit tighter, and whenever you have it down, plays a bit warmer, and it feels like there's like a little more compression when you play. So it's really nice being able to dial in exactly where you want it at. And you can see that's a replacement knob on there. Color doesn't match that right, but so in the 50s there was the tweed amps, and then starting in 64 Fender went to the Blackface amps, you know, where they had the black Tolex and the black faceplate on with the silver grill cloth. Well, the Brownface amps with the brown Tolex, the brown faceplates with the numbers printed right on the faceplate, these were the transition between the tweed and the Blackface amps. And the tonal characteristics is really a blend between the tweed and the Blackface. But the thing about these is, in 64, when all the new Blackface amps came out, a lot of the guys that played these were like, man, the Blackface looks really good with the black Tolex and the wheat grill and the silver grill cloth. I'm gonna spray paint mine. So what they do, they did the unthinkable. They spray painted these cabinets. They spray painted their grill cloth. they spray painted the whole thing black. Well, this was one of them. And if you ever watch Matthew Scott's videos, he actually is the one who restored this amp back to brown. So the grill cloth was painted completely black. The Tolex was painted completely black. Luckily, it seems that they either taped off or took the chassis out because they didn't paint the faceplate, which would have been the hardest part to remove. So this is still the original grill cloth. It's still the original Tolex on it. Everything's original, cosmetic wise, and it's been restored. I'll probably continue trying to get, you know, all the black paint off the bottom, off the sides here, just trying to really get out of the cracks. And I'm gonna put in, you know, probably a couple hours just trying to get it back to as good as it can look. But you know, it's just a relief that it was able to be restored this well. You know, you could tell it's a proper Brownface amp, and it's got the nice wheat grill cloth. It didn't have to be recovered or anything like that. So it's just funny to think that such desirable amps now were just regular amps back then, and guys were just like willingly ready to spray paint it. And he probably thought it looked a million times better when he painted it too. That's the funny thing. And who would have thought that these would be like pretty collectible these days, and no one would even think twice about doing it back then, painting it. But nowadays the thought would never even cross your mind. So alright, thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. Follow along for more. We're always doing cool amps and stuff, repair videos, guitars, whatever. So thanks for watching, and here's some more playing.